What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I want to talk about gold border characters and why they're not as relevant as what they were in the very beginning of the game. And it's really the same as to why a lot of characters don't become as relevant over time. And that's because of power creep. Ever since the introduction of more Fest characters, SS and BS characters, and a lot of collaboration characters other than the gold border, these characters just really don't get used for much of anything. There was a time that we were able to use them in Championship, although for some reason Netmarble isn't allowing us to use these characters in Championship anymore. And by the way, speaking of Championship, this is Battle Card Imprint Stone Week applied, so this is complete cancer, my friends. Just one-shot crap over and over and over, especially now that we have 5 imprint stones on the characters, and that could probably lead me into a whole nother video, but I really want to keep it to gold border characters. Now, just because we have power creep doesn't mean that gold border characters aren't relevant. There's actually quite a few of these characters that are still very good, very useful, especially when it comes to like RHD, Reviving Hell's Dungeon. I mean, you got characters like Jin here. Jin, I mean, he came in this game. He was part of the first collab, the Tekken collab, that originated in the KOF game, at least on the global side. And he was a great character when he came out. He's still a decent character, but he really doesn't get used for anything. But I ended up using him for Reviving Hell's Dungeon, right? You need a blue defensive team past tier 40, and that worked out really well for me. You got characters like Yashiro, who's actually freaking amazing for Immortal Most, thanks to the fact that she has this dot explosion. She's amazing for that damn thing. She can actually stun the boss because she does explosion to him. Freaking wonderful character. You got characters like Yuri here that I actually used for Reviving Hell's Dungeon, right? Blue defensive team. Actually a really good character in PvP. It's a real shame that Netmarble isn't letting us use our gold border characters in PvP anymore. That was actually pretty fun. When, back in the day when we could use those characters, it was pretty fun. I mean, unless you didn't have maybe the Tekken characters or the Samsho characters, because they were really the meta, especially when it came to gold border week. And we haven't had gold border week, and I can't even remember. I have no idea when was the last time we had a gold border week in Championship. But I mean, Hijikata's a decent character. Okita's a decent character. You got a character like Swimsuit Mary, who's always available in the game, who's actually, again, really great for the Immortal Most. You could even use her in Immortal Nyx. Because of the dot explosion. Same with Lady Yashiro. She actually has a 3PG card that you can actually get from the Epic Quest. I mean, a very, very good character. I've actually done free-to-play teams with Mary here in the Immortal Dungeons. I mean, however, she is a green attack, so she isn't very good for Reviving Hell's Dungeon. And this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of characters that are actually, you can still use them. It's just people don't really use them as much anymore because of power creep, because of all the new characters, because a lot of us have SS and BS characters, right? And we're just dominating and destroying with them in all the game modes. I mean, Kazi here was an insane PvP character at one time, and still would be if we had a gold border week. A wonderful character. Charlotte here with her dot explosion is freaking amazing. Just wonderful against the Immortal Most, right? Because of her dot explosion that has no cooldown on it, just landing critical hits. You have a character like Haramaru here, who's actually really good for Immortal Victor. A lot of the first clears that were done against Immortal Victor were with this character. However, I mean, just like a lot of characters, over time, you just don't end up using them. And another thing about the gold border characters is we haven't got any gold border characters in the last couple collabs. In the 7 Deadly Sins collab, we didn't get one. In the 7 Nights collab, we didn't get one. So why is that? Why haven't we been getting some collabs? I mean, collab gold border characters. I mean, we ended up getting Haramaru, who is freaking amazing. This Rock is actually really good because he can actually use the 3PG, that insanely long 3PG that the Rock has. And this character was completely free. The game gave us this guy free doing from a login event, right? And he's actually really good. Actually has bleed. He can actually put in work against Immortal Victor. Decent character. You got characters like Alice here, who have this great leadership that's really good for Red Element fighters. Unfortunately, because of the SS characters, right? I mean, We used Alice before in Guild Raid for Rachel and Kay to get those easy points in hard mode in Guild Raid. Well, now you can just use Keo and just do it solo and absolutely destroy that, right? Just do it solos. And you got characters like Heihachi who also have the dot explosion. That's really good for the certain immortal dungeons, Nyx and Most, right? You got a character like Kay here who also has dot explosion. Again, good for the same game modes. You got Shizuru, who's actually good for Immortal Vulcan because she is a blue defensive fighter. She gets buffed up. She has crazy heals. She got the crazy leadership. 4 blue fighters who have the type advantage against Immortal Vulcan. I mean, there's lots of characters that are actually useful in the game. It's just a gold border characters anyways. But people just don't use them, right? They don't use them at all. I mean, you got Xiangfei here, who's actually an amazing striker for the Guild Raid because of the poison damage. Same with Yashiro. Both have 10-second long dot effects, which is amazing. 10-second long dot effects, and Nightmare Geese is mwah. You got Athena here, can really get it done for you early on in the game and the team relay dungeons. I mean, but the thing is, after a while, after you play for a while, you just don't use these characters anymore, right? You don't use them anymore. I mean, Shermie here is actually good for Immortal Vulcan. She's got heals. She has a nice 3PG that she can actually use in the game. She's actually quite good. I've seen a lot of people use her on their teams, and she's quite amazing because of the heals and because of the fact that she actually gets buffed up by Immortal Vulcan. Jeanette here is actually really good for your Red Balance team and RHD. Solid character, gets super armor actually from her core effect, does lots of hits, easy to play, nice long range attack on that first skill. Lots of characters are really good. Mei Li here has the leadership. The thing is, some people ask me, what are the best gold border characters? And the thing is, it's hard to say, right? Really, the best gold border characters are going to be the collaboration characters. I mean, it's going to be the, Kazuya. It's going to be Jin. It's going to be Genjuro and Harumaru. And speaking of Genjuro, I mean, I've heard this guy's actually amazing in the chapter fight, especially with the dot damage bug. And that really makes sense because this guy actually does have bleed damage, and he can actually apply a 3.5-second stun, and it's a range attack. He throws out that card, he goes all the way across the screen, and if he stuns them and they don't have stun immunity, you can just sit back and wait a little bit and let that clock just kind of roll down a little bit, and then go into your hyper armor skill, right? You can space out your skills really easy, and by the time you finish, you'll be able to do your stun skill again. Plus, he has 30% PG rate in his core, and he actually builds his core. So I hear he's really good in the chapter of fight. I actually haven't tried that at all, but I imagine he would be. I mean, lots and lots of these characters. Rio here actually got it done for me for a long time, and RHD in the very beginning because he is a purple fighter, right? And by the way, you do need a purple attack team past tier 40, and he actually gets super armor every time he does his third skill from his core effect. And that's actually nice. He gets 5 seconds of super armor every time he does his third skill. And this thing's on a 10-second cooldown. With cooldown cards, it's going to be just a little over 6 seconds. You're pretty much going to have super armor almost all the time. Now, you can't just cancel skills, but Ryu is actually really easy to play. Very simple. Yeah, freaking amazing character, right? Has a 3PG and the whole bit. Actually very good for, again, Gold Border Weekend Championship. It's a real shame that Netmarble isn't letting us play these characters on the Gold Border Week. Becky here is actually very good for Gold Border Week. Another collaboration character, also another character that has dot explosion. Very good, has a 3PG. Really good for, again, the Immortal Dungeon, Immortal Most, and Immortal Nyx because of the dot explosion. And there's lots of characters here that are actually quite useful. I mean, Paul here was a free character that actually has an amazing leadership for attack type fighters. That's freaking amazing. I mean, we already have Orochiori, but still it's nice to have another character that has that leadership. He is a green fighter, and I mean, he would be really good against the Immortal Victor, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, Bao here is actually a very good PvP character. I mean, there's lots of characters. It's really hard to rank them because it really depends on where you're actually using them. You know, what game modes are you actually going to be using them in? I might end up doing a video about rankings on certain characters. Takasugi is actually really good in PvP again. It's actually pretty funny. Actually, whenever the Yantama collab came in, we had a few. I think we had some Gold Border Week championships, but after that, it seemed like they just kind of disappeared. But I would really like to see some more collaboration Gold Border characters, because those characters, I mean, these characters like Jin and Kazuya and Haramaru, Genjuro, right? The Gold Border version of Gintoki, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins also, John Cena here. All these characters actually proved to be very useful. John's got a great leadership, by the way. This was a free character that we actually got from the, I believe it was a roulette. I mean, lots of goodness from these Gold Border characters that Netmarble has decided not to give us in the last couple collaborations. And I really would like to see some more Gold Border collaboration characters for us, because these characters prove to be very, very useful. And they're actually very simple to level up, because all you need is all-star memories. Once you get some all-star memories, you can actually queue it up. It sucks that you got to use 6 of these things. That's a hell of a lot. That you need 6 of them to get one of these Dimensional Invitation tickets that are actually memories for Gold Border characters. But at least you're able to level them up. And there are quite a few characters that I skipped over. I didn't even talk about them. I mean, characters like Kula here, who's actually really good in the Immortal Typhon because of her freeze. I mean, there's a lot of good Gold Border characters. Just a lot of people don't really use them because, well, I mean, we have the SS, the BS, we have Fest characters. Just characters that have a lot more CP, that are just a lot stronger, have better skill effects. But I would like to see some more Gold Border characters be useful in the future. I really would like the game to make Gold Border characters be more useful. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a dungeon where we could only use Gold Border characters. They already have something like that already in the game with the Team Relay dungeons, where we can only use cost 55 to 59. But it'd really be nice to give us something like that, where we could actually get some gold hammers, especially since they decided to take gold hammers away from the Rite of Passage and give us this chapter of fight. I haven't got a gold hammer in here at all. I haven't got one gold hammer. I mean, yeah, you can salvage imprint stones that you've already put a lot into, right? Why would you salvage an imprint stone that you already put so many imprint stones in, or so many gold hammers into, to level up? Why would you do that? You're not going to do that. All right, most of the time when we level up imprint stones, we put them on a certain character and we leave them on there. So let me know how y'all feeling about the Gold Border characters. Which Gold Border characters do you use? And would you like to see more Gold Border characters come in the next collaboration? And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.